Welcome to Source Not Found, a show about the worst versions of your favorite things. Every other week, we explore an IP, franchise, or fandom by way of its sequels, spin-offs, and side projects. Basically anything but the source material. I'm Brandon June, and I think I want a second opinion.
And I'm Bo Woodall, and let me guess, you're the town lumberjack. Did we both go with Leon one-liners?
So I had a few.
Yeah,
I had a list of like, if Bo does this, I'll do this one. In descending order of how much I enjoy them. Second opinion is number one, of course.
Yeah,
that's an all-timer.
That was actually
one of my favorite Leon quips.
That was my number one as well, but you grabbed it, so.
Yeah, I thought when we discussed like who's going first, like, oh, okay, I get the second opinion then.
You get the good boy. Yeah.
Beat him to it. My number two is actually, I missed that Raccoon City hospitality.
That one was good. I did like after you beat Chunk and he says, sorry, I guess I'm not on the menu. That was pretty good.
They're kind of all pretty good.
Yeah.
And you know what? This game was kind of pretty good.
Yeah, guys, it's been a while since we've done a video game. Let me tell you. And we finally got two after months and a trip to Japan and back. For me, we got to Resident Evil 9 Requiem, released February 27th, 2026. The 9th mainline game in the Resident Evil series. I think this is actually like the 17th, if you include all of the side projects and stuff. Like, guys, this thing's massive. Like it's
been going for a while.
It's a household name for a reason, and that's one of the reasons we're covering it. If you've never listened to one of our video game episodes before, we have quite a bit more structure than some of our other episodes. We cover video games in 5 categories: narrative structure, gameplay, visuals, sound, and fun factor. We score those out of 5 for each of us, adds up to 100 at the end of the day, and 10. We score them out of 10 for each of us, 5 categories, goes to 100. I will be doing the math, and I'm already fucking it up. I'm sorry. It's been a while. It's been a beat.
Your fuck up gets you into my math territory, though. So,
yeah,
finally,
we're on a 6 scale or whatever the fuck it's called.
It was an 8 scale, and that's what my school did. That's what my elementary school did. They did it on an 8 scale.
What is that, a callback from 3 years ago?
Yeah, fans of the show will know. No,
fans of the show, they will know.
We're supposed to collectively forget about it.
Sure. Yeah. Do we want to do like the back of the box read on this, or do we want to jump straight into narrative structure? Like, how do we want to approach this? We could also talk a little bit about like why this as a new game was so vital for us to cover.
I guess just to set the stage, listeners, everyone in here with us, Spoiler Town. Welcome to Spoiler Town. Spoiler heavy conversation to follow. Like, we're going to be discussing all aspects of the game. Stuff's going to come up, especially a narrative. We usually start with narrative. I think that's where I have the bulk of things to say. Like, that's where I have most of my things to say.
Okay, so I want to toss something out there. Something that Resident Evil as a series has done is, and the reason I was so excited when we both decided to cover this game for the podcast, is they find something that works and then they jump it a little bit. As either a revolution in, like, an evolution in gameplay, or an evolution in how they're telling the story. Who knows? But they do make it evolve. After Resident Evil 3 to Resident Evil 4, we went from survival horror to action horror, with a little bit of survival tossed in there, right? Then when we got to Resident Evil 6, it was just basically action adventure, and people were like, hey, yeah, everyone bought this game, but we didn't like it. So in Resident Evil 7, they went back to the beginning and went sheer survival horror and made possibly the scariest video game I've ever played. 8 made that evolve, and now we're at 9, where this is normally where they would jump the shark a little bit. They're even
Yeah.
returning back to kind of some OG characters and ideas.
Well, and I think that's what keeps it from suffering from the curse of what happens a lot of times in like the cyclical nature of Resident Evil, right? Like you establish
Sure,
a formula, refine it, maybe perfect it with the second or third, and then, like you said, you jump the shark, or it gets kind of stale. So like, I love Code Veronica. I like Resident Evil 3, but like, I don't think those are the high points of the traditional fixed camera angle, tank control horror game experience, right?
Yeah.
You got
Agreed.
1 and 2, and then it's sort of diminishing returns after that. Same thing with like, oh yeah, like you just mentioned, like 4. Entirely new direction. And then we get 5 and 6, you know, and it just like the trajectory takes us in like this other territory that's not as satisfying for fans. It doesn't really give us what we crave when we come to a Resident Evil experience.
Players for the most part. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, I think 5 is a fun co-op action game.
yeah, if you ignore the fact that it's a Resident Evil game and ignore some of the more problematic things in the game,
sure, plenty to ignore, but if you can,
yeah, then it's actually it's a really good, it's a good time.
But I think with this one, which this is one of my new favorite Resident Evil games, it avoids that by being such a culmination of everything the series has done. It looks forward as much as it looks backward. Like it takes the momentum and the lessons learned in every iteration of Resident Evil and kind of brings them into this new structure where we have these dual campaigns that take the benefits of both the action approach and the more horrific first person approach and manage to pace them and structure them and have you oscillate between them in a way that like you can satisfy fans of both directions of the series and make them into one experience that's not jarring. And because they're kind of like siloed in these two different characters, you can kind of fully immerse and invest and enjoy those gameplay styles and mechanics within this part of the game and then move back to the other chapter. And I think it's the perfect approach. Like I could see them doing this with a couple Resident Evil games going forward.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And we're going to get hard into that in gameplay because there's a lot to say about that too. Let's jump into narrative. Let's talk about the two characters we play as. Which one do you want to cover first? I have a feeling
I stole Leon from you.
I think that as soon as the Silent Hill-esque ass scenery starts with Grace, you probably had a video game erection.
I streamed this live. It got awkward.
Don't make eye contact.
I mean, honestly, I would rather talk about the Grace segments.
Yeah, go for it.
And I know you're a big Leon boy. Okay.
Talk about her story.
We have an FBI analyst, Grace Ashford, who is returning to the scene of her mother's murder years later. She's being assigned there to investigate a body found on the premises. And from there, we meet a Dr. Gideon. We end up in a care facility. I'm trying not to be like too specific, like just the broad strokes at first, but
sure,
we are on the journey of this character. And I think what is most compelling about her story to me is whether or not she seems suited for the profession she's in or the cases she's being assigned to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bo's face is in his hands.
That's a good question.
It is a good question, and it doesn't exactly work. But if you can look past that, she is a very compelling protagonist to follow and play as. And her performance, aside from
the very shaggy from Scooby-Doo reliance on trembling voice,
trembly, stuttery beginnings to line deliveries.
Whoa, what? Yeah.
But when she witnesses her mother's murder, it's a great performance. I think it's maybe like some misdirection for the actor. I don't know what's going on there, or if it's just like she's got this trick that she's relying on. for establishing like the tone of a scene that she's starting. But when she gets to these moments of like emotional intensity and like pulling out like the horror, the trauma, the devastation of like seeing her mother, like a knife shoved through from the back of her mother's neck out through the front. And like, it's a horrifying scene. And it really, like, I felt that scene. Like, I almost wanted to tear up myself, like just watching her break down, you know, and cradle her mother's corpse. I think that, but like the thing that's most interesting to me about Grace's campaign, aside from like any lore or like character arc, to me, like why her narrative is almost like a 10 out of 10 and satisfies everything I would come to this series for, is her journey through the care facility. Like when I think about the Grace journey, it is going through the care facility. And honestly, the game as a whole, like I think the first third of this game, maybe up to like the halfway point, is some of the best Resident Evil I've ever played. Like it is truly a 10 out of 10 to me. I love it. It gives me everything I would want from this experience. The back half is less satisfying to me for like the things I come to the game in the series for.
Agreed. For the most part.
For me, like the narrative moment of this game is, I think it's the West Wing. The first time you go through the West Wing, I will never forget my journey through those rooms. Like I felt like I was in a house of horrors, like just like truly like entering a haunted house where every room was designed around an idea or theme or some kind of spectacle. And I'm shuffled through each one and I'm given like a new horrific thing to behold. You come to the dining room. There are all these zombies animalistically up on the table, just like feasting on gore. You sneak past the chef with his enormous cleaver, right? You go upstairs into the lounge and bar area and you have the echoes, like as you approach the singing zombie, just like echoing down the stairs. And like that narrative moment of my journey through these rooms and creeping around and like having no idea what to expect around each corner and having some new take on a zombie. And like them all echoing some like kind of deep down in the brain remembered action from their life, like trying to turn on and off the lights, singing in the lounge area, you know, like these little kind of fragmentary, half remembered phrases from their life. And that was incredible. Like that was one of my favorite portions of any Resident Evil game I've ever played.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah.
Like that to me is like that's the summation, like the encapsulation of what was so great about Grace's narrative in particular was like she was the vehicle because, and it's also gameplay as well, but like the way her segments are structured, like to experience something that felt so fresh. Like we're just structurally, it's the Spencer Mansion. It's what we've come to Resident Evil so many times for, the RPD. You have a central hub. You make your way out into one wing. You get turned back around, but you have a key to go to the other wing. And slowly you expand your area of control and safety. And then at some point, narratively, something comes in to steal that safety back away from you. And it's a push and pull. And like focalizing through her and witnessing this house of horrors, especially like, I mean, I say especially in the West Wing, just because like it was so cinematic. Like truly, like the way everything was staged, the colors, the lighting, the varied textures and all these spaces. And then later on, the horror of the East Wing, just like in complete darkness and the blister heads showing up. And like that was narratively so satisfying. And like, I think it's a good, compelling story as well. Like you have Emily that you're caring for. And, you know, I mean, we'll get into like stuff with Gideon and Zeno and Elpis, I guess, a little bit. But like that stuff, honestly, is less interesting to me. Like There's some great Spencer lore. There's some great connections. Like, it really does bring the series together in a lot of ways, and incorporates
that's
so
kind
many
of when
threads.
you said it focuses on going forward just as much as it focuses on going back. I had to kind of disagree with you, because this is all of the big story beats of this game are love letters to past games.
Right.
Like, the narrative beats for individual character moments are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like the East Wing or West Wing, with all of the rooms the way they were. Absolutely incredible. I agree with you 100%. But the story itself is fine.
I agree. I completely agree. You'll notice I didn't really say much about the story.
Yeah. So that's Grace's gameplay, for the most part of it, is the first third to almost half of the game, focusing on escaping that care facility, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get to play with her a little bit more as the game goes on, but the majority, the biggest chunk of gameplay with Grace, and probably what you enjoyed the most in the game, I would think, was that care facility.
For sure.
Leon Well, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say, that's why it's really all I talked about.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, when I said, like, it moves the series forward, I kind of was more thinking mechanically and just, like, structurally, as opposed to, like,
got it.
The actual plot. Like, the narrative plot beats of the game, I'll let you get into your thoughts on it, but, like, yeah, I have less to say about those, or, like, less praise, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Jumping over to Leon Kennedy's gameplay in Requiem is a study in contrasts between him and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
And
mm-hmm.
the early gameplay, 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, or 4, 5, 6, and 8, I would say more of.
Yeah.
You go from this very Silent Hill style Resident Evil 1 to 7 style survival horror game with Grace. You don't have a lot of weapons. You don't have a lot of resources. You have to basically hoard everything you can and use everything in a very, very critical way. Leon's is just balls to the wall action movie set pieces.
Yep.
We'll get into how the gameplay works here in just a second, but narratively, Leon's gameplay does not offer a whole lot outside of kind of a study in survivors' regret. Leon is infected with the T-virus.
Yeah.
As is Sherry Birkin, who is his man in the chair this time, which I thought was a nice little, all right, I guess we're doing that now.
It's like a lot of this game is like, why is this person here and doing this? Like, it's very contrived, but you know what?
Yeah.
I, as a fan, do it. Fine. I'm cool with it.
Just give me Ingrid Hunnigan back. Like, I'd be fine with that. But Sherry is infected as well, so they are basically in Raccoon City trying to find anything that can help them.
Yeah, so basically everyone who survived Raccoon City, they've been becoming ill and suddenly dying, exhibiting like a weird bruising, and it turns out like you didn't actually survive, like you didn't actually not get infected with the T-virus. Like everyone who was in that city
got infected with the
remnants
T-virus,
of the T-virus
basically
in them that was like kind of dormant, and now it's kind of finally
acting up.
It's broken down their antibodies, and they're acting up.
Yeah, and now every time Leon basically exerts himself, he ends up making the virus spread faster, get worse faster.
And I will say, like, we've seen it many times, and maybe it's, I don't know, a little derivative in that way, but when it's done right, and I feel like it's done right in this moment, when you have a returning hero that you've come to care about over a series of
several
whether
games,
it's games or movies or novels, whatever it is, and you're years later and they're grizzled and they're world weary, and you feel like you've been through some shit together, and they show up, and every once in a while they just have to like stagger forward and lean against a lamppost or some shit and cough up some blood. Like that, you got me.
I mean, when Leon has the same
that.
gray in his beard that I do, it makes you feel something.
It does. It really does. Like, God, I played Resident Evil 2 when I was just a wee little lad, you know, and just like you were a little rookie, and just you had your parted hair and your little, just all your shirt's tucked in. You're ready for your first day on the force, and you know, and now we're here together all these years later, and man, yeah, I've got aches and pains. I've got the gray, I got the wrinkles, and bud, you're looking rough too. We're in this together.
We'll talk about how the game ends in a second, because that's where we're going to end the narrative structure bit, because we're probably both going to have something less praise to say about that. But I do want to praise a couple of things about Leon's narrative, kind of like you did with Grace's care facility. And it's just 2 side quests.
Okay.
The first one starts the first time you get control of Leon in the care facility. And you start finding letters from Raccoon City from a young girl. And you follow this trail of letters all the way through RPD and into Raccoon City Center proper, past Kendo's gun shop, which was a mainstay in Resident Evil 2, where Leon actually feels like he failed someone, right?
Yeah.
And you get to see that flashback and kind of the whole cliched hero going never again.
Which I honestly, it still kind of hit for me. Like
it hit hard.
This is like,
yeah,
like this is a cliche, and I don't know. I've seen this many times, but something about like flashing back to the Kendo gun shop and remembering that scene, and like he still carries that all these years later, and it was just, I thought it was well done.
Yeah, it was. I agree. And so after that scene, you go past the back of Kendo's gun shop, and spoilers for the side quest. If you don't want to hear about it, skip forward a minute or two. You go back and you find the 3rd letter. And the little girl is like, hey, we went and hid in the parking garage. So you run to the parking garage and you find a letter next to a burn up car. And she's like, the man I was with, he started turning bad or something like this. So I'm running to Kendo's gun shop, or Mr. Kendo, or whatever she says in the letter. And so you run back to the gun shop, and you go to the back of the gun shop, and you see a pair of young girl discarded shoes. And you walk a little bit further, and you find the last letter, and it is just a bloodstained piece of empty paper.
Yeah.
This little girl who's been writing the letters is the girl who basically caused Leon's loss of innocence. And it just, I know that's a love letter to fans, and I know that's like a nostalgic thing, but it still hit good. Like,
yeah.
The fact that they had the flashback helps it hit even harder for people who don't know about it, right? Who didn't play Resident Evil 2, doesn't know Leon's story. The other side quest is Barry's side quest in RPD. You go through the just destroyed Raccoon City Police Department. You go through the STARS office and their command center and everything, and you start finding stuff. In particular, you find a checklist that Barry has made. And you go through and you start stripping away the superhero values that you've probably put on people like Jill, Barry, Wesker as a supervillain, more or less, Chris Redfield. You see them as they were before catastrophe struck. Like, even Wesker was just kind of a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, it just, the entire RPD section, I feel like was a little underdone. I wish we could have done a lot more with it.
Yeah.
But there were a few moments in that area that I felt that it wasn't so callbacky that you felt like it was just trying to get fans happy. Like they were
Right.
actively doing things to affect how fans would perceive the characters as they see them in the future as well. Yeah. And I just thought that was very, very cool.
Those are great moments. I like that you highlighted those because, yeah, that hit for me too. And I think that's something this game did really well, was kind of bringing some of these characters back to a relatable, more human.
Yeah,
standpoint.
Absolutely. Especially after the last game and how we saw Chris Redfield.
Yeah, or even Leon. Like, Leon's always been fun to follow, but, like, you know, you can maybe relate to him in the original too, right? Like, he's just kind of a nervous guy just showing up for his first day of work. And all this, like, he's just thrown to the shit. But, like, from 4 on, like, okay, yeah, he's a fun protagonist, but he's kind of like a superhero. Like, he's just flipping and suplexing and quipping and, you know, becomes something larger than life. And then 6, you know, yeah, more of that with more acrobatics. And bringing it back to, yeah, this man who's worn down physically and carrying all of this with him emotionally. And the reason some of this stuff hits because, yeah, it is constant callbacks. There's so much. And we haven't talked about some of the ones that don't hit or are kind of like almost like a rug pull of just like, hey, this is that thing. Actually, it's kind of not. But did you think it was for a second? You know,
I have one of those that is both narrative and gameplay. So I'm saving it for the next round a bit.
Okay. Yeah. The reason this one works, and I agree that RPD was kind of like underwhelming on some level, and I was trying to figure out exactly why, because I do like a lot of the stuff they do with it. But it's because, like, we have our nostalgia that we're bringing with us too, you know? Like, we're here with Leon all these years later and revisiting these locations where, like, in-world, real-world time, for those of us who played the original 2 when it came out, like, we are looking back on our own journey, like, in this medium of games, in our history with this franchise, along with Leon, and we are remembering these things. And there's a care that they took with highlighting some of these moments and aspects and bringing in certain Easter eggs or just, like, yeah, ways to ignite our nostalgia. And I don't think they're all just empty callbacks. Like, some of them really do hit, like the ones you've mentioned. And that was very satisfying. And when I think about the narrative of this game, like, that's what I think about. I think about the moments you discussed. I think about the character of Leon, despite some performance things aside, the character of Grace, the momentary it is kind of gameplay, but just like the narrative experience of exploring something for the first time and it being like so well, like, cinematically designed for me as a player to experience through the eyes of this protagonist. I think about the first appearance of Victor Gideon on the streets and just like the silent, wordless, just tranquilizer shots. Like, that is a fucking great scene.
Yeah, it's
that
very
was fucking
good.
Awesome. I think about the motorcycle chase, which was like ridiculous and bombastic and awesome. Like a perfect Leon moment.
I'll be talking about that momentarily.
Yeah. And I think about, it's also mostly gameplay, but just like the structure, just immaculate structure, especially of the care facility, of Grace first, the introduction of the girl, one of the great monster reveals of all time.
Yeah.
Just, you're cowering in the complete dark, and then that claw, that hand coming out of the darkness to grab the zombie corpse, and you look up and what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And you're in immediate control. You're just looking at this thing up close, dead in the just blank shark fucking eyes of it. The big lipless grin.
If you were Leon, it wouldn't have hit as hard. It really wouldn't have.
That's the brilliance. You go through this area as Grace for the first time. Everything's new and fresh and terrifying, and you're vulnerable. And then you come back through as Leon, and it is so cathartic. And the things that were such, like, this insurmountable obstacle now is just like you fucking suplex them.
Yeah.
It's just roundhouse kick them, get a chainsaw, saw them in half, and keep sprinting along. And it was great. It was the perfect balance. And I loved that. But I guess to like move to a couple things narratively that didn't hit, because we brought them up.
I want to hit one more that did work for me, and then we'll get to things we didn't like, and then a score, because we've been on narrative for a while. When Leon gets sick the last time, where he has been this superhero that Grace has had to basically almost cower behind in some of her most terrified moments.
Yeah.
When the virus finally brings him to his knees, and it affects how you see the game through his eyes, and then Grace is there to stand him up and to walk him those last couple of steps. I just thought that was very well done. Like, you don't normally get to see through the eyes of a character that you love as they are slowly dying, effectively.
Yeah. On any level, did you think this might be a farewell to Leon?
At that moment, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping not, because why would they do that? But there was a brief moment where I was thinking, this may be the end of my boy.
Yeah. I did cross my mind a couple moments, like, maybe. I mean, you think about, like, you can't help but think about, like, just, this is an entertainment product from an entertainment company.
Right. Yeah.
And they have a very popular character, and they have a franchise to think about. And, like, I don't know. I don't think that's very likely at all. But maybe it's just the strength of the narrative, or just, you always wonder, like, maybe they're going to take a real fucking big swing with this one, and really, like, this is a requiem.
Right.
Like, this is the goodbye. And it, honestly, if this had been the end of Leon, it would have been a hell.
It would have been a great send-off. Yeah.
The only thing that, like, made me think it's not happening is because we do have some unresolved business with Leon.
A lot. Yes.
In terms of Ada. And honestly, like, I feel like before we say goodbye to any of these characters who we've come so far with, like, and this is what 6 tried to do, and kind of, I guess it did. I think we need, like, some interaction. Like, we do need some resolution. We need Leon to see and Claire Redfield.
We need to see the teams back together for just a little while, you know?
Yeah.
We need to see Jill again, for Christ's sake.
That would have been unsatisfying on some level, but then also like satisfying because, hey, those are stakes, man. Like, we didn't get an ending with Ada. We didn't get a little reunion between Leon and Claire. Like, he went off on his own journey and he died here, you know, with Grace.
And with that exact statement, I would like to bring up my first point about what kind of pissed me off about the narrative. It's like fucking Sherry Birkin and Leon Kennedy forgot Claire Redfield even existed. And I was not happy. Like, they're walking through reminiscing and having flashbacks and shit. And it's like, Sherry, you don't even remember the person who saved your fucking ass. Like, do you have any idea how ungrateful you sound, you little brat? Good God. Okay. Okay, I'm good now.
I don't have any serious gripes about this game's story.
Yeah, that's just me being
oh no, I know. I just like to get like into the negative zone a little bit. Like, it was just kind of underwhelming. Or usually with the Resident Evil, like, I don't care for the last third of the game as a general rule as much as I did for the first portions of it. Like, I've never, you know, I get it. There's a structure. Like, you always end up in a facility or something, right? You're always going down underground, and things are kind of like getting tied up, and, you know, it's kind of just,
you always end in a white laboratory someplace. Sure.
And it's action oriented. At that point, you have an arsenal, you know, and that part of the gameplay and narrative is just less interesting to me. I like the early sense of disorientation and mystery. I like being in some locked mansion or facility and slowly exploring around. Like, that's what I love about Resident Evil. But I get that, like, you need to tie things up, and it is kind of cathartic to just have a countdown timer before whatever explodes and be rushing around with your grenade launcher and taking stuff out and knocking out bosses. But narratively, like, Xeno, man. I don't know about
Yes,
Xeno.
exactly. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
He's a cool character.
But he did not need to be in this fucking game.
Or series.
Or series. I just
look at his design and like, yeah, he's something. He's something like independent of context, right?
We even saw that Victor Gideon had peers through like walking through the care center. Give us his underlings and make him the final boss. Like, he was interesting enough to set something up for the future without Xeno even being there for me.
Yeah.
Having a fucking Wesker clone just walking about, just, big swinging dick in his hand, like,
yeah,
unneeded, completely unneeded, does nothing for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, he's kind of cool as just like a design and a character and a performance, but again, like, what is the point of him? Like, why do a Wesker clone, really? And I think it felt like a rug pull. Like, you get the first image of him in that scene. He shows up and you're kind of at a distance, like, wait, what? That's not who I think it is it? Because I saw that man melt in magma. But then again, like, Resident Evil has done some wacky shit before. I don't know what we're doing here. And then it's quickly, like, resolved. Like, yeah, that's not Albert Wesker. But for a moment, I kind of wondered.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I melted him, but I don't know. Maybe something was extant and they grew him back.
That was I would have been down with that. And then we didn't need to see him the rest of the game if that was the case. I would have loved that. Just like,
yeah,
you see images of Wesker show up or a Wesker-like figure show up, and then you never see him in cutscenes. He doesn't do anything villainous or anything like that. You just know he's out there. That would have given me so much more than this absolute fuckboy walking around with his arms out of his coat. Just,
oh man, but that 3D model you can unlock and view in the viewer. And
he looks great.
Around, that little earring just dangles.
Yeah.
Yep. He's looking good.
What a tool.
Yeah. It just feels like a fucking like fence sitting kind of milquetoast kind of thing. Like, if you had asked me before Resident Evil 9 Requiem, do you want to see Albert Wesker return to Resident Evil? I would have said, absolutely not. Keep that man dead. Like,
right.
I want stakes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want it to mean something, and I don't need him to come back. In that scene where, on some level, is that Albert Wesker in that moment, I was excited.
Yeah, I was down. I was completely down.
Given it being done correctly, actually, that would be satisfying to see him come back and interact with these characters. Like, to bring him back and have him interact with modern Resident Evil characters and like the journey they've been on, and to come into contact with Wesker again. What is not satisfying is, just making me think that's coming my way, and then it just being a clone. Like, I don't want clone shit. I don't want fucking Kingdom Hearts. Like, just this person is kind of like this person, but not really. But you emotionally process it for a moment, and then it kind of means nothing, And similar to that point, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it seems like a slam dunk. You are exploring the RPD. You're engaging with your nostalgia. You're feeling the weight of the years. You're looking at grizzled Leon. You're seeing the destruction of Raccoon City. You're thinking about your own life and how things have changed in the intervening years. The world has moved on. The world changes. And then Mr. X drops in, or, it's the Xeno situation, right? It's like, it's Mr. X, not that Mr. X. It's not the same. It's a tyrant, though. He's basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I just didn't feel that much about it, honestly. But
okay,
I wanted to.
I do want to hold Mr. X a little bit for gameplay.
Yeah.
I do want to hold him a little bit because that's something I want to talk about. But
for sure,
I agree 100%.
But yeah, just like the narrative moments that it sets up, especially in the late game, are just like less well executed, right? Like, on paper, that seems like something you got to do. Like, give us another tango with Mr. X. But it doesn't quite hit. But they're not failures. I don't know. It's just like
they're not the slam dunks that we get early in the game.
to your point about the callbacks, the callbacks that you brought up hit. Some of these callbacks, whether it's an actual like bringing back the liquors, which after the horrors we've seen up until that point just kind of are underwhelming. I think like if they'd showed up, I think like if some things in this game were flipped, but just like they're kind of less of a threat than the things I've faced before then. And they just like, because of their introduction, the point that they're introduced in the game, they just hit less. And I think like it was just like a slight fumble with how some of these things were revealed or incorporated narratively later in the game. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like it was cool seeing that like Spencer, like humanizing him and seeing his remorse and, you know, seeing how that tied up Grace's connection. And kind of like that red herring of like, oh, she's the answer, right? Like, she's the answer to all this. And like, no, actually, she was just like, she was a vehicle for Spencer to process his own guilt by raising her. And okay. I mean, that's...
Speaking of...
That was a surprise.
Let's give what happens at the end of the game, and then we need to score before we move on to gameplay, because we didn't score early.
We didn't.
The whole thing, everybody's looking for this thing called Elpis. Apparently, Elpis is a cure for anything Umbrella's ever made. Any of the viruses are now kaput if you decide to release Elpis.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess like it's an antiviral, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it would cure everything but like Las Plagas, right? It wouldn't cure the parasites.
The mold as well.
Yeah, right, mold. So you knock out some of it, but then
so
there's still horrors.
There's still Resident Evil out there to be seen, but Umbrella's tale or Umbrella's time in this whole series is effectively done.
Yeah.
So what'd you score narrative?
One thing I got to know.
Okay.
What did you choose? Your first go through. If you did it again, did you release or did you destroy?
Release.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Have you seen the other ending, the bad ending?
No.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you then.
No, well, you have to now. I assume Leon just dies.
Yeah, he does. He does. He doesn't make it out, but he saves Grace, and that's kind of like he dies, knowing that like, well, at least I saved Grace. It's a bummer.
That sucks. Yeah, it sucks, but that's
we got the good
so
ending.
we're gonna grade based on the good ending of the narrative.
Yeah, I like that there's a choice. That was cool. You gave me a narrative choice at the end of the game. It's kind of obvious what you should do, and
definitely.
You know, it's not like too independently. You know, it's not like this is designed where like you could make a choice and both endings kind of like are narratively satisfying or like could be your end to the game. Like one is you failed basically. It's like a fail state, right?
Right.
But yeah. So despite me not being as satisfied by the later parts of this game and how the narrative eventually unfolded and some of the callbacks, the stuff I brought up early on, the moments you mentioned, the moment to moment, like mini narratives, I will never forget. Like I said, I will never forget my journey through that care facility, my own personal experience of that narrative. I gave it a 9.5.
I gave it a 9. I was, there are a couple of things that I had some issues with on how characters were pushed. And how certain characters reacted to certain events, but all in all, like I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna remember this game. Yeah,
it's the gripes were relatively minor, and the highs were so fucking high.
Yeah,
that I'm left with like even stuff that kind of underwhelmed me. Like I don't really feel that underwhelmed because I was so satisfied and so just. It was joyous. Like I was fucking vibrating going through that West Wing. God damn, man.
Yeah.
Like this is everything I want in a horror game. Oh my God. So
gameplay. That
kind of leads into gameplay.
I want to start us off.
I also gave a 9.5. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. No.
Kind of undercut you there.
No, you're good.
Yeah, similar thoughts, honestly.
I also gave it a 9.5.
Okay.
This is almost all that I have to say about this. Is my main point about gameplay. Resident Evil was able to put two 8.5 games together and make them cohesive. Because of that, I score it higher. Okay, actually, with just if you just looked at the care center, I would put that as at a 10. Like,
absolutely,
damn near perfect. Even the Leon bits in the care center, like, I would put at a 10. But
absolutely,
there is one thing about this game and gameplay that hurt both its gameplay for me and its fun factor a little bit. And that is the fucking bummer ass, just paradigm shifting without a clutch bullshit when you become that small child in the orphanage for 45 minutes.
Oh my God, we have the exact same gripe. Chloe, fuck that shit.
It was absolute dog shit. Like,
yes, it
was. If you would have had this in the middle of a Grace section, it would have worked. It would have been fine if Grace found a file on Chloe and then we experienced the whole Chloe thing. But we have just been playing as Leon for a bit. Right?
It's not even its placement in the narrative for me.
That's what it is for me.
Yeah, which I get, for sure. For me, it's that it is such a wasted segment. Like, okay, do you want me to play as a small child navigating through a house of horrors and have no defenses, like nothing to attack offensively with? I just have to hide and stealth? Okay. Fucking do it right. Like, I felt nothing because a lot of that portion really wasn't like puzzly so much as just like waiting, hiding under the obvious table, feeling like I'm in danger, but I don't really feel anything about this situation. Like, it wasn't dynamic, right? In the way that like running from Mr. X or a Nemesis is. Like, it wasn't, it wasn't like organic. I didn't have a lot of options. It was very linear, right? It was basically just like walk forward, hide under this table, wait for them to pass, keep walking forward. Let's play a cutscene where you're a child. Yes, it is running from Nemesis in RE3 Remake, where it's like, it's basically scripted. Like, you can fail, but you're not going to really feel much when you do, and you'll just start back and just, play the cutscene again. Yeah. It was a bummer, and it was some cool, like, having all the little clone children like break out of those caskets or whatever. Like, that was fucking cool.
And like when they would fall from this, like the ceiling or a higher level and just like crash and just assumedly break every bone in their body. And then they just like marionettes being picked up by strings start to stand up and like move again. And we'll get into this with sound, and their laughter and tittering and like the small sound of like children's footsteps. Oh, that was good, which is why, like, it was
good shit.
If Grace would have found something about Chloe in the care center, and this would have happened after some instance you have with Emily, I would have hated it less. It still would have affected me negatively, but at least it would have felt cogent.
Good point.
Did not feel that with where you were in the game. You had just gone through a lot of heavy combat as Leon. And is this after the motorcycle race?
Honestly, I can't remember its exact.
It was right after.
Can't quite remember. Okay.
It was right after this that you do the motorcycle race, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have been Leon for a bit.
Yeah, it was very abrupt and jarring. But again, if it were well done, I honestly would have accepted it. It's stealth segments as Mary Jane in Spider-Man. It's like, why did you like? I just want to play. Like, I'm here to do Spider-Man stuff. Like, okay, and if you're gonna have me do that, if you need to like shake up the pacing a little bit, you just feel like you're trying to keep the core gameplay kind of fresh by throwing in some other things to break it up along the way. I understand that from a design perspective. You better make it good. Like, the stealth better be good.
Noticeably
right? It better be compelling
good
in its own right. And like this if this were going to be like a set piece, like really horrific, like, oh man, you've been Grace, but like, I mean, Grace has some things that she can do. You do have firearms, you know, you do have the stims or whatever they're called. I'm kind of blanking.
Hemolytic activators, I think.
Yeah, the little injector things. Hemolytic. Yeah, that sounds right. You got those. Like, here's a kid with nothing. It's going to be even scarier. It's going to be even worse. Like, you thought the girl was rough? Well, get a load of this. And then, like, kind of what I mentioned about the introduction of the liquors. It just doesn't register.
Do anything.
Because, like, the things I've been through so far, like, this is just, like, kind of low level, like, it's low stakes. And after all that, it just feels like kind of a nothing. And it's funny we had the same, like, gripe here. Because, like, other than that, damn, man. Like,
yeah.
We talked about it a lot in narrative because it's kind of paired with that, but just like the pacing and the structure, the horrific introduction of these environments, these enemies, this world as Grace, and then coming back through as Leon. It's so cathartic. It's so fun. It still is like horrific action. It's still gory and dark and chaotic. We have great callbacks. The sniper segment, like, hell yeah.
Yeah, the sniper segment was fun. I do want to mention one thing that I absolutely loved, and I'm not sure how you felt about it necessarily. I loved fighting Mr. X again as Leon now so much because it's just like it tells you how far Leon has come. To look at a tyrant and not go, "Oh fuck me."
Yeah.
He goes, "All right, let's fucking go. Let's do it right now. I've got my fucking combat axe and a SMG and a sawed-off shotgun." Rodeo.
Yeah.
Like he's not packing his infinite rocket launcher or any sort of weaponry like that. And he parries a tyrant with a combat axe. Like, it's just so fucking cool.
Yeah, gameplay wise, that really hit. It was like narratively, it just felt like
it's just like, look at how strong Leon is now, you know?
Well, and also just like we have these facsimiles of the thing, right? And it just like I already kind of belabored that point, but yeah, gameplay wise, very fun. I loved running through the wreckage of the RPD with this thing on my tail, and it was like a good little like pursuer segment. Like, it was concise, but it was stressful and fun.
And the motorcycle bit, another break in the gameplay, but this was a break in the gameplay that I genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah,
it was a really fun little set piece.
It was, and I liked that's why I feel like the Chloe thing is kind of unnecessary. Like, we already have Leon kind of breaking up the formula so much, even within his own campaign, right?
Yeah.
Because you also have these more like kind of concise, like the care facility parts of the game, and then you get into Raccoon City and it really opens up. It's kind of like, well, I know you haven't played these, but it reminded me of The Last of Us Part 2. But like, you kind of get to slow down and methodically like wander around and take your time and clear out, as much as you want. Like, you could really do every little side quest and look for all the goodies.
I played as Leon for as long as I possibly could. Yeah.
Same. Because like, there was a lot of great individual moments there, like at the fucking gas station with the chainsaws. Like, dude, that scene, I felt like I had just wandered into the film Mandy. Like, it was, that enemy was fucking gnarly. That was sick.
And you get to fight a chainsaw guy with a chainsaw? Oh, it's about time Leon got to use a chainsaw.
Fucking sick. The rooftop segments.
The rooftop segments
the incoming
were awesome.
Fire, like clearing that, like, this was great. And then you had like moments to breathe in between as you ran over to the next building.
The sewage area and like the facilities where you fought like the big blister bastards.
Oh my God. It was great. I loved it. And like, just, demolished, time-worn Raccoon City, and all these, like, I love a good kind of post-apocalyptic landscape. And like, that was delivering on that metric. And, you're like, it's out in the daytime, but you still have a sense of horror because it's just like, you are alone out here. Like, this place is cordoned off and everything's kind of got that like dusty, worn kind of sandstone kind of like hue to it, just like gray.
Yeah.
And it was great. Yeah, and we didn't even talk about it that much, but just like the core gameplay, like the core mechanics. I mean, it's what you've come to expect from Resident Evil. Like it's always like I'm fucked, and then you find a box of ammo. You know, and it's just like these games are balanced so well, where you're just always on. Like you'll have a moment where you're sitting pretty, and then like it's just stolen away from you, and then you're just left in dire straits. But you always just have enough to get by. Like they have perfected the survival horror formula, truly.
And not just that, they've also really, really perfected the action horror genre as well. The fact that you can choose before you start playing the game if you want the POV between Grace and Leon to change when you play them. So you really do feel like you're playing two separate games. You're doing first person as Grace, and it feels like Resident Evil 7, very, very like horror focused. And then you jump into Leon's shoes, and you're like behind the shoulder third person.
Yep.
And you are ready to absolutely wreck shop. And it's very clever. It's very fun. And it goes to show how willing Capcom is in this stage in Resident Evil's like lifespan, is to take great ideas from several of their games and just play.
Yeah. That's why it really is like the culmination. Like it was such a smart choice. I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
And it plays to the strengths of both character and like their journey. And then it also just like emotionally, like mentally as a player, you can process like it's clear dividing lines. Like, oh, I'm in this perspective. Fuck, it's time to be scared again. Yeah. And now I'm here, and okay, I can like, it's going to be stressful, but I can take a breath. Like, I know I have what I need. I'm just going to, wreck some shit.
There were a few moments early on as Leon where I didn't have the parry mechanic down well, and I was really needing ammunition every now and again.
Yeah. Been there. But I also love that, like, when you give the player choices, like, yes, absolutely. Like, play it the way you want. If you want to do the whole game in first person, do it. We think you should do it like this. And I took their recommendation. I have not been back through, but I love that you can if you just want to. And it increases the replay value. Like, I'm going to have a fresh experience when I go back through, because I'm going to play Grace in third and Leon in first. And, it's see how that changes the experience. And that I love that. It was on that metric. And then a couple like specific things within it, like blister heads. Holy shit. I thought crimson heads were like as bad as it gets. And they still might be. I don't know. As an enemy, as like a mechanic to, like, as a choice. Like, what are you going to do with this zombie you just felled?
See, I always thought that some of the Las Plagas mutations were about as bad as it can get, especially the ones that could just, take you out in one bite. Those big Venus flytrap looking bastards.
As a creature, maybe. What I guess I mean is like giving the player a choice, and it increases the horror and the stress factor of like, I have a couple injectors, right? Mm-hmm. I took down 7 zombies.
Who am I going to stab with
this
them?
Wing?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And the sword of Damocles just hanging over your head. Like, if I take too long, one of these times I'm going to come back through here and they're going to wake up.
That is one thing that I made a horrible mistake about. I made so much ammunition for Grace because I was like, fuck those hemolytic injectors. I don't need those. And then the blister heads start popping up and I'm like, oh, I made a mistake.
It got to a point where it's like, I'm in so deep. Do I even just like try and rectify it? Do I like go knock out a few? Because like, it's going to be chaos in here in like 10 minutes. And I just like powered through, and it was chaos.
Yeah, it was a rough go for me.
But the transformation and then waking up, and they are horrifying, and they rush you and they just rip into you.
Beat the hell out of you.
It's good, man. It is fucking good. It is a 9.5 in my book.
All right.
I love that gameplay.
Let's go visuals.
I'm out of gripes. From here on out, I got nothing but good stuff to say. I gave it a 10.
I did too.
This is a beautiful game. This is a terrifying game. This is a grotesque game, and everything. It's not even just like the high quality of the visuals. It is, I mentioned this in narrative, like the care, the level of design put into like the spaces themselves. We've seen a lot of this, especially in like Village, which is why that's a favorite of mine. And the original Spencer Mansion, just like very, I don't know, Baroque kind of like highly, or like Rococo kind of shit, like
right, yeah,
very accentuated, lush, like kind of exquisite furnishings, and then degraded and made into just like a charnel house, like that dining room with all those zombies up on that table. I continue to just see that scene, as I'm talking about this game.
Mine is the first time I walked into the bar lounge area.
Yeah, that one too.
And just like hiding behind the bar and seeing like the rail liquors there and like the big ice tray, and like they did a great job.
Creeping behind the piano. Yeah. And just, these like warm, like wooden, like well-furnished interiors and offices, the lounge, and then just gore everywhere. And then like turning off and on the lights and seeing it in like the difference there. But yeah, just the spaces and the way that they're designed, and like just the variation in texture, like, and again, care facility, we have all this going on. You go down below, it is rusted metal and concrete and grime. And I love a visually varied, texturally varied journey through a narrative. And like this really delivered on that. And we talked about Leon, the character designs are like, I love his character design.
Yeah, me too. It's a great job. Good. I want to bring up something that I didn't look at Reddit or reviews or anything until I finished the game. I wanted to go in.
Same.
I wanted to go in completely fresh. But a complaint about the visuals that I saw from a couple of people was the fact that Raccoon City was too like gray and like same colors across the board. And I don't know who said this. I remember reading it on a like reaction to this review, and they said that their father had pictures of Hiroshima after the bomb. And it looks just like it. Like this is what they saw. Just the fact that you can take a real world example of what happens to a city after a catastrophe like that. And with that, like, this commenter was not Japanese, but commenting on a game made by a country that has experienced nuclear fallout,
right,
and saying you don't know what it looks like is a wild stance to take. Like,
but to that point, like, I didn't even make that connection until now. I'm just like, yeah, that history and that real world connection. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. This was not enough to bring it down even a half of a point, but Ark going through the laboratory, it felt like every other laboratory that Resident Evil has done in the past, but a little bit prettier.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, I'm usually not that interested in the final. Maybe the third is too much, but like the final scenes of Resident Evil are just never
the final set pieces.
They're never memorable for me. And it's always the same. Like, it is a formula, you know? That said, like, there was like one waiting room. I was streaming this, like I mentioned. We hung out in that like waiting room lobby area in Ark for like a long time, just considering the sofas.
Yeah.
And you have that like bold kind of like, was it like a red or kind of crimson? I'm trying to remember now. There was like a floor pattern. It was like a very dynamic space with these. It was very, very interesting. Couches.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, we were kind of being silly, but just like divining certain things about just looking at this waiting area where none of these sofas are usable. Like the seating area. Hold on, hang with me. It's like over an hour in, this guy's going to go on a fucking tangent about the sofas in the waiting area of Ark and Resident Evil Requiem. But hey, it's like way too deep. You would not be able to sit on this thing and dangle your legs over the front. If you lean back, you're going to get fucking speared in the back of the head by the sharp point on the back of the sofa. It comes up at
I would like to just point something out. No one was ever supposed to be in that waiting room. That's what I'm saying.
This thing is holding the secrets of the fucking universe effectively in this world. The fact that they put a sofa in there by itself is buck wild.
Yeah, I think there were like 7 maybe. I don't know. And none of the sofas are all at like weird angles to one another. You could not sit on one sofa and converse with someone on a different sofa. They're all like facing basically the wall or the corner, or like facing out at like a 45-degree angle away from like the other sofa across the way. Like no one is set up to see one another. And I was like, this is the most like dystopian, like we have real world umbrellas. We have fucking Nestle, right? Like we have, we are well acquainted with the evils of just capitalism run amok and like evil corporations. But like, this is like kind of the summation of just like the facade of, we have a lobby area for you. We have a waiting area for the clientele, the customer. Like there is the appearance of the facade of this, but in reality, like, no, you are nothing to us. You can't use these sofas.
Believe that this has turned into a fucking Flip My House interior design podcast.
Visually dynamic, but unusable.
Sure, yeah, but unusable. Yeah.
It's like one of those, I don't know, did you ever have these friends growing up where like you go over to their house and just like, oh, you just feel like you can't sit anywhere in this home?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Where they have a living space that looks great, but is completely unusable by social creatures.
Yeah, you just go and you sit down on the couch. Like, well, what are you doing? What? That's the living room. Yeah? We don't use that.
But it says living. It says living in it.
No,
the name?
That's just for show.
That's the aesthetic living room.
Yeah. Don't go through the dining room. What are you doing? No, we don't use that either.
We eat in the den.
That's for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christ.
I don't know. How did we get here? Visuals are good.
Let's go sound. While we're at it.
Sound is good. Spinal Tap it. Let's give it an 11. Not really, but it's a 10.
Also a 10.
All right, singing zombies. I think that's
so good.
Words. Singing zombies.
The idea that you keep walking around and hearing zombies like recreating like patternistic mannerisms.
Yes,
is just hearing someone saying lights off, lights off, lights off, lights off, lights off. You know you're relatively safe as long as the light keeps flickering, because he's stuck in that one spot. And you can go right behind him with that hemolytic injector.
Boom. If you had told me before I played Requiem, because like you, I looked, and I haven't looked up anything since really. Like I'm on Twitch. I saw a couple of people streaming it, and I checked in for a little bit. But honestly, I've kind of just through osmosis, like heard that, like, yeah, this game got a good reception, but I haven't really seen any, like, I haven't watched any takes on it. I just kind of know how I feel.
I've seen mostly friends, like 9.3s.
Yeah, I guess I saw some
like
scores,
it's average.
Like I got this game on my fantasy critic team, so I definitely was looking for like the numerical value. Like, how did I do? And this game got me some fucking points. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did. If you had told me before I played it though, hey, just so you know, zombies are singing in this game. There are singing zombies. I would have said, that sounds like some dumb bullshit. Oh my God. What? Is this like Caliban Cove, zombies with guns? Like, all right, is this where are we going? No, like, it's not one of those things you can just say. You have to experience it in the moment. It is fucking incredible.
Yeah. And then with that, you go into Leon's gameplay and you have visceral sounds of combat. Some of my favorite were one of my kind of least favorite places to play for him was in like right before you get to Ark, you're going through the plants
It was just like a brief moment where it's like, okay, we can't have zombies here, so I guess we just have killer plants.
Yeah.
But going through, if your volume was high enough and if you were paying close enough attention, you could hear them rustle right before they leapt out, and it sounded like a wheat field in wind or something like that. Just like it sounded so good and so
It's so good.
And the voice acting across the board. I can't wait to see what they do with the DLC and characterizations and voice acting on that. Just great.
I loved the interaction I loved Victor Gideon. Like, he is one of my new favorite Resident Evil villains. His performance was so great. And just like his little, like, I don't know if was it like pleased to make your acquaintance or whatever, the little bow he gives.
Yeah.
But then just the brutality, the cold scientific brutality. I mentioned that scene when he first shows up.
Leading directly into a white hot rage when he doesn't get exactly what he wants.
Yeah, and the kind of like serpentine, just fucking lips and tongue, and just, oh my God.
And the gold teeth that make him look even more inhuman. Man, it was
fucking goggles.
Like, never taking off the goggles. Like, it was one of the best characterizations of separating. They couldn't make him a full zombie, right? They couldn't make him mindless.
Yeah.
They needed a villain, but they still needed a really interesting way to separate him so far from what humanity is. And it was so well done.
Yeah, performances. I mean, I loved Zeno. Like, we have our thoughts that we shared about his usage or even just like him as a character. But like, again,
it was a great performance.
Like, in a vacuum, he's great, like, and he could be utilized well. Leon, I felt it. I felt the years. I felt the trauma. I felt the weirdness.
Every single quip. Oh
my! Like, honestly, that I think I Want a Second Opinion is one of my favorite things I think he's ever said.
Yeah,
like
it's
Where's
very,
going
very
bingo
good.
is iconic, but like I would give it to the I think I Want a Second Opinion just as a quip. Like, I think that's S tier. That's
it's
as good
very,
as it gets.
very good.
And we mentioned Grace. This is actually the one of the takes of the game that I did see going around. Like, everyone kind of had the same takeaway of just like, what do you mean you don't like the performance of Grace? Yeah. Yeah, we're doing that a lot.
Yeah. If they would have said she had a stutter, that'd be one thing.
I get it. I fumble my words. I got a little stutter thing going on, and and I do get that that's a character attribute, but like it's kind of like, hey, like, dial it down a little bit, like a little subtlety here, And
every single person that said, but she's an FBI agent, she was an analyst. She had never been in the field, right? Like, she was applying to go to the field.
Yeah.
And this was like her first.
So why did they send her to her dead mother's fucking hotel?
No fucking clue, man. No idea.
Okay, I was like, we didn't talk about it, but I was just like, did I miss something? Like, was there some contrived reason for this that, like, or there was like a secret plot?
I thought she had always been studying her mom's murder, and they found stuff taking place at where her mom was murdered. So they're like, we're going to give you this case. Are you sure you can handle it?
I mean, yeah, I know, and I get that it was like set up, like you get all the photos on the bed, right? And it's like, yeah, this was set up for her, like, as a trap. But then I mean, like, within the FBI, but like, why did her boss think this was appropriate?
I don't know but I mean, you see in her cubicle at work, she's still studying that hotel and that care facility.
Right.
So, like, you assume her boss knows that she knows the area better than anybody else.
Yes.
Now, why he decides, hey, I'm going to send you in solo. Like, as an advisor or an analyst, that'd be probably what you do. And then you send her in with an active agent who is used to the field.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least. But again, I'm still stuck on the idea of, this is where you send her first?
Hey, man.
I don't care if she's with a team of commandos or something. What?
Hey.
Yeah.
This administration's really rough. Budget cuts. It's not great. So I don't want to date the podcast, but it's rough right now.
Maybe they honestly just didn't have a choice. Everybody else said no.
Maybe, well, I mean, why did this give me any pause? We know we got Kash Patel at the head of the FBI, so why try and make sense of any of this? Not to date the show or anything.
Yeah, I wasn't going to name names, but hey, you know what?
I'll name that name. Fuck every single one. Let's go through the list.
I'm not, okay. Because I don't want to be put on a list.
I'm already there. So, yeah, the sound is good.
Fun factor.
Sound is good. Fun factor. It's 10. I loved it. That care facility gave me everything I want in Resident Evil. If it were just that, it would be like maybe my like it would be up there with 1 and 2, like the originals. Like really, it's just like the back half that like knocks it down a little bit. But goddamn,
I need to know: do you think this is where I struggle between a 9.5 and a 10? And I've been struggling with it since I finished the game. So like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Was the orphanage section bad enough for me to drop it a full half of a point?
Yeah.
And I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Maybe if we did quarter points, I could bring it down to like a 9.75.
Yeah.
But I don't think that section only lasts a half an hour if you're, paying attention. And the game lasts a good between 15 and 20 hours. No, it's a 10, baby. It's a 10.
Yeah. I mean, your mileage may vary, but for me, like the highs were so high, like it impacted my gameplay a little bit and we bitched about it. But I mentioned Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, going through a Mary Jane stealth segment, like, I didn't like that. I'm fucking swinging around as Spider-Man for the rest of the game. Like, that's like a 11, 12, 20 out of 10. Fuck, it's not gonna, I'm 10 out of 10 fun.
Yeah.
I'll take a momentary lull in the action for those highs. Yeah. I love horror. I love Resident Evil. Like, I had high hopes for this game. It delivered. Really on every metric. Like, yeah, minor things that we discussed with some gameplay sections and a little bit of the narrative, but truly, like, the first third of this game, like, it's one of the most satisfying takes on that Resident Evil formula I've ever been through. I'll never forget it. Absolutely loved it. Like, the strength of that is enough to make up for any minor criticisms later on.
If I had not played the Silent Hill 2 remake relatively recently, chronologically speaking, I don't know if I would have enjoyed the first third of this game as much. But now that I'm kind of getting more into and used to pure survival horror and seeing a game that gives me what I want on both the survival horror front and the survival horror action adventure, me and Leon just palling around, kicking ass. It's just a good time. Like, it's just a good time. Except for the orphanage.
Yeah.
Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Yeah.
There's a lot to be bummed about in the gaming landscape, and there's a lot to get into there. And just like the way that trends are going too, of like where the money is in this medium that I care so much about these days is like not the parts of gaming that I give any shits about,
Right.
Like, I don't want to play the latest extraction shooter. I don't want to jump into a living game. I've never been in the League of Legends,
I've always
joined the ranks.
I do find it funny that two people, you and I, who love video games so much, I want a good story. I want a good experience for me to enjoy. I don't necessarily need to enjoy it with 1.3 million other people. I barely like 20 other people in person.
To that point, like, and industries change, and like, there's good stuff coming out all the time from like amazing, creative, hardworking people, right? Like lots of indie games to enjoy. Just we've seen that like AAA experiences that are delivering a just well-designed, well-crafted single-player experience are not as dime a dozen as they used to be, right? Like the momentum of the industry has moved elsewhere. But these things still come out, and when something is as good as this game was, like I just want to treasure it. You know what I mean? Like I want Capcom to hit all their numbers. I want them to take the right lessons from this. Like keep doing this. Like the audience is still out there for this. Like I don't need every game to look like this. That's unsustainable. It's not good for the industry. Like we don't need this all the time. But when these games come our way and they are as good as this, like truly treasure it.
Yeah, agreed.
Like I'm so happy that this was as good as it was. Truly, like this as a fan, like it meant a lot to go through this game.
Yeah. Speaking of that being as good as it was, this is actually, I think, our first tie.
Ooh, what do we got?
If I'm not mistaken, it's the tie for the highest scoring game that we've ever covered. Silent Hill 2 Remake and this. With Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right underneath with a 96.
Okay, what's the score here?
97.5.
97.5. Yeah, that seems right. I need to keep a list of our scores. I forget. I don't know. In my mind, I always think that Indiana Jones was at the top, but I guess not.
I think Indiana Jones, I don't know, it may be. I thought it was only a 97.
Maybe so. I remember like Rebirth and Silent Hill 2 Remake, Indiana Jones, like being up there, like, yeah, those, I know those got A's, like those are,
yeah,
they did well. They're on the honor roll.
I can't complain about this being our highest scoring game if it's our highest scoring game. I can't.
I think, based on everything we've played, yeah, I think it deserves to be number one. Like, I would take this over Silent Hill 2 Remake in a second.
I would too. I don't know if I'd take it over Indiana Jones. There was something about that really just filled my heart with joy. Like, I was able to play Indiana Jones and never have anxiety.
Yeah.
So it really depends on what sort of gaming experience you're looking for. But I feel like these two would probably top my list.
To that point, when the credits rolled on Requiem, I wasn't in the moment. Like, I was in the moment. I was watching it. But I was still thinking, like, okay, yeah, that was good. That was a good conclusion. But man, that first half or whatever, right? Fucking awesome. Yeah. Like, I was thinking back. At the end of Indiana Jones, I was there watching that plane pull away.
Yeah.
And it gave me chills when those credits started to scroll up the screen. It's like, holy shit, that's like the best Indiana Jones movie we never got. So to that point, yeah, maybe Indiana Jones should edge it out a little bit. Like that fucking stuck the landing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God damn, you fucking karate fought on the Ark. Like, that's, the end of Requiem was cool, but that
much like this game, I'm going to have to go back and play that again.
God damn, I just want to play it all over again. I never, I didn't play the DLC that came out.
Me neither.
I got into that. Yeah.
All right, we can't get into another video game, but what we can get into is housekeeping stuff. You can find us on all of the socials, and our Gmail is sourcenotfoundpod@gmail.com. If you've played this game, please tell us what you think.
How did you like Chloe's segment?
Yeah. And also, just out of curiosity, who do you think is the best? I was going to say a female protagonist, but I think we know who that is when it comes to like strength. But who do we think is like, who would you put as the best tag team for a Res Evil game? Like, who would be your Grace and who would be your Leon?
Oh,
across the board. Maybe we'll talk about it next episode.
I think we get a Leon and a Jill from me. Captain Wesker, where's Chris?
I would love to see a weird, like, parted, like, separate ways Ada and Leon, where they just keep interacting and it gets more and more fraught. That'd be fun. Anyway, all of the socials for reasons unknown at Source Not Found, or Source Not Found podcast. Brandon, what are you up to over at Twitch?
Yeah, twitch.tv/LeJuneBug. I'm not playing Resident Evil anymore. Did a lot of that.
Bummer.
Moved on. Yeah, just, my usual just chaotic, distracted series of just like, hey, let's start this game. Let's play Panzer Dragoon on the Sega Saturn. No, okay, let's play Burning Rangers. No, actually, let's put away the Saturn and pull back out the N64. I don't know what's happening this week, but I'm playing something. Come on by. Hang out.
Fun.
Love to see you. Link down in the show notes, right next to the link to Jesse Jelena, St. Coelacanth, crafter of our theme song and a lot of other good music. Check him out on Twitch, on YouTube. All good stuff.
Speaking of YouTube, you can also find us there with a full back catalog of our episodes and videos of Brandon playing games that we have covered on the podcast. And because we've only been doing one episode of a month for the past couple because of travel and stuff like that, we're going to be picking up again real soon. But we got to thank those beloved patrons.
Thank you so much to Frederick Weaver Vorhog, 13th Horseman, Susie Daggs, Jacob Swedell, and Joey Bishop.
Friendship.
We love you guys a whole bunch. Thank you. I love every Leon one-liner, and I'm trying to figure out which one to end on. How does this hit you? How does this hit you? I do have a question. When was the last time you brushed your teeth?
Is this the end? Wait, where's everyone going? Bingo?